Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. For sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name's Austin Drummond, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. We're going to be talking about Shohei Ohtani. But the man who's going to stay on this podcast and will not be traded, Austin.
Never. The package is too big for you either, Kevin.
I appreciate it. But
yeah.
The thing is, the dilemma is the Angels are not going to trade Ohtani. I don't think it's going to happen. But he is going to leave them in free agency because it seems like from the comments, he's kind of done with the Angels because he said he's sick of losing, which I get. And it's crazy that the Angels have the top two best players in the MLB and they haven't made the playoffs since 2014.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about Ohtani this year is I always thought he was a better pitcher. His career ERA is 3.09. But the fact of the matter is this year he's hitting at a level I have never seen from him. He's never hit over 286 in a season that he's played over 100 games. But this year, 95 games, 306, 180. He's leading the league in the entire MLB in OPS plus, slugging, triples, and home runs. And then as a pitcher, his ERA is fallen, but and he leads the league in wild pitches, but he also leads the league in hits per nine. He does not allow hits. His ERA is 3.5. And the fact of the matter, like I said before, 6.9 WAR. A WAR season that is enough to win an MVP, according to Baseball Reference, is 8. He's already at 6.9 in 95 games. Or I guess it's more because he's also hit for some. But it's actually 95. That's how many games he's played in. Okay. But I don't know. What would you obviously said you would, but what would you be looking for?
I would just more top of the line players for the future because the Angels and one of them is not going to equal Ohtani. I'm just going more of the team route. But the problem, I don't think the Angels do it just because they would take such a PR hit from giving up on Ohtani. And like you were talking, I would just look for give me the best players from your system. And so in the future, I can be better because they just don't have a complete team. And that's what's killing them. Because if they just had a average team, average starting rotation, they'd be in the playoffs.
Probably. And a question I talked about before that I want to ask now, when do you give up? Do you give up now? Are you trading him today if you're given the right offer? Or are you waiting a little bit? Because they're above 500. They just swept my favorite team, the Yankees, because we suck. Mm-hmm. But they've won, 3 games straight. They are in the wild card. They are back 4.5 games of the Astros. That's not so far out that you can't come back. So when is the plug pulled?
I start taking calls now because I want to build up the offer. But I decided maybe like a week at the trade deadline, before the trade deadline. Because there's a report they're not going to accept calls till 48 to 24 hours. And that's just not going to work because the better guys are probably going to be gone that they would want in that offer. Which is why I don't think they end up trading him. Because Art Moreno, the owner, is just he wants to get the money now instead of the future and have a better team.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the problem is if you're a team trading for him, you got to get the extension. And that's why, and I'd be shocked if he returns to the Angels. That's why I would trade him.
I would Here's what I'm going to say. It's going to sound a bit confusing. I wouldn't be shocked in the right circumstances, but the thing is, those circumstances are not likely. I think if the Angels just make the playoffs and he's on them, he'd resign because he said he wants to win. And getting into the playoffs for the first time since Mike Trout's only time in the playoffs, I think would be enough. I think it would.
I think they'd have to overpay him almost.
You can't overpay Ohtani.
That's true, but
I don't
I
think you
think
can.
Marino's going to cheap out because here's my offer if I'm a team looking to sign him. Hey man, we know you care about winning. We've been to the playoffs because I'm thinking a playoff team. It's gonna be difficult if you're not a playoff team this year. But hey, we believe we're gonna be a playoff team next year. You're gonna make us much better. How does 10 years? And I would say 650 million. That would be the deal.
This is just like Judge, because Judge is, again, like I said before the video started, besides Mike Trout, the best hitter I've ever seen in my lifetime, again, that I've watched. And there's guys I've missed. I missed the prime of A-Rod and guys like Barry Bonds. I didn't get to see them. But in my lifetime, Judge, I said for Judge, give him a blank check. For Ohtani, here is the check. You sign it. I do not care how much it is. I do not care. That is how good you are.
But to me, I would just give him like a rough number. But yeah, I don't care. We can go higher. But I'm going off. Okay, he's one of the best hitters, and the best hitters number last year was like 375, right? 8 years or 10?
For Judge?
Yeah.
Let me pull it up real quick. You keep talking.
I believe it's like around 400 million, and that's what with inflation in like the next year, Ohtani, around 400 million. But he's also one of the best pitchers. And what you got the number?
Yes, 9 years, 360.
Okay, so it's around 300. So if I go 10 years, 400, that's for Ohtani, the hitter. But then I'm going to go for the pitcher. DeGrom got 5 years, 185. So I'm just going to go.
Ohtani, I still think is not as good as a hitter as he is a pitcher. And that's not to say he's a bad hitter.
Yeah.
This is kind of a hot stretch, and I got to see him do this over a considerable amount of time. He's always been an all-star level hitter. He's an MVP level hitter this season.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always been a Cy Young level pitcher. And that's the thing. He's always been a better pitcher in my mind. 3.09 ERA for his career, which is extremely impressive. And you need to hire a all-star level hitter for probably, I would say, $25-30 million a year. But a Cy Young level pitcher, we're going to Garrett Cole. Let me pull up Cole. That's who I would think of because it's long term, not like DeGrom But Garrett Cole, it was 9 years, 324. So 324 divided by, let me pull that up. 324 divided by 9. That's 36 plus 30 for an all-star, or I'll go 25. I mean, that's still $61 million a year, which is considerably more than anyone else. So if we're just going based on my rough estimate, 25 plus 36, 61, that's fair. I think 61 again. But if he asked me, hey, look, I don't want to move to Texas. It's not close to, just for example, I don't want to move to Texas. It's not, I wanted to stay on the West Coast because it's closer to Japan. But I'll sign it if you give me $700 million. I think I'm good with that. I think
it works. Because for me, the Angels, I think they have to give him $750 million.
Not if they make the playoffs. I don't think they have to.
I don't know.
He went to the Angels the first time, and I think he does have some loyalty. He's a great person, and that's what makes him so lovable as a player. He's so
great, and he seems to be having more fun now, which is just great. Like the bat flip.
Oh yeah, I mean, my heart sunk, but hey.
Oh yeah, thanks for you, but yeah, it's just it's gonna stink if you trade him because people are gonna be mad, but you just have to do it. If you're not,
Ohtani is the only player in sports history, in my opinion. I could be wrong. This may be a little bit of recency bias. That I would literally say you can't overrate them. Like you can't emphasize how good this player is in the sport. I don't think it's possible.
there's always going to be undiscovered value just because he's a hitter and a pitcher, and he's very good, great at one or both of them. So there's always going to be some type of extra value. So I get what you're saying. I would say there's always going to be value in him if he's playing well.
If he's playing as an average hitter and an average pitcher, he's still an all-star.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like an average, I mean, I don't know if at an average, he'd be fringe all-star because I'd say average hitter, 2 WAR, average pitcher, 2 WAR, that's 4 WAR. People think all-star's 5 WAR, but just a little bit above average. A little bit above average hitter, a little bit above average pitcher, that's 5 WAR, and that's an all-star. And him playing at the level, I just can't, I guarantee this. I'm going to make a guarantee in this video.
Yeah.
He will win MVP and Cy Young in the same season. I guarantee it before he retires.
Okay. That's
I don't think he'll be able to do it this year because Framber Valdez, I think, is running away with the AL Cy Young right now. I don't know how anyone catches him unless Cole goes on a crazy one. He's the only one I see that has a... The only reason why I don't put Eovaldi in there is because I haven't seen him do this ever before. Like, he's never been this great of a pitcher, and I don't think it's possible to stay on this run. But I've seen Cole do it before. But the thing is, Valdez 2.76 ERA consistently. Like last year was 2.82. But Ohtani, I think 2 years down the line, he gets even better. I mean, he's still not an old player. He's 29. We just saw Judge hit 62 at 30. He will stay a great player for a while because pitchers usually don't get hurt unless they get Tommy John surgery, and I pray that he doesn't have to go through that. But also, designated hitters never get hurt. He's not the most dangerous spot to be is in the field, injury wise.
Yeah, it's something that's making this deadline really interesting. Just the offers, but I just don't think the Angels are going to pull the trigger. It's a tough decision, but to me, there's no other choice. Like, you have to pull the trigger and just go and eat the loss and hope that you get the right prospects in return that will make you a better overall team than what you are now.
But the thing is if you eventually trade Trout, you're trading 2 top 10 MLB players of all time. And you did not win one playoff game with either of them. Playoff game. Yeah. Playoff game. Playoff game. Not one playoff game.
It's rough, and they've tried to add people, and they just haven't added the right people to where it works out. Because they signed Rendon, and he's been injured. I'm trying to think. They made trades this year. If he weren't in a contract year, I think they would make the playoffs next year. Because they have guys coming up. It just seems too late now.
Yeah. It just seems like when anyone else besides those two goes to LA, they struggle. And the fact of the matter is, in 4 seasons with LA, Rendon has 3.2 WAR. When in 7 years with Washington, he had 30.
Yeah. It's just injury.
Yeah, he hasn't even played 60 games in a season with LA yet. 60. There's 162 games in a year, and he hasn't played over 60.
Some of their picks before just haven't worked out. But now it seems like their recent draft has worked out. It's just they don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's all we got. Let us know what you think. And we'll definitely talk about it more. But it's a unique dilemma. It's something I'm very interested to see what happens.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yep, that's all we got. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.